So today we're going to compare Garmin Pilot and ForeFlight for people like me who are pretty familiar with Garmin Pilot and are considering moving across to ForeFlight. So here we are, I've got Garmin Pilot open and I'm planning a flight to Hayward in about, let's assume, 40 minutes time from my home field of Delta Victor Oscar. So I start out on this is what my home page looks like. I hit trip planning. I've got my form, KDVO to Hayward. I'm going IFR. I've selected my aircraft identifier, 8040 Golf. Got my departure time in there. Actually, let's assume it's going to be today at, let's say, 2200. Let's do that, make it a bit different. I can look at my planned ATC routing, and I can see that ATC has provided a clearance of Skaggs to Oakland at 5,000, so I'll click that. I'll see if I need an alternate. I could put in Oakland as an alternate, see plenty of visibility, no ceiling. I can put that in there. Performance configuration, I know that the plane is actually going to use about 12 gallons an hour, so I'll put that in there. Start out with full fuel, 56 gallons, 2 passengers. Now I want to do a weight and balance before I do a briefing, so I can just hit weight and balance here. And one of the nice features about Garmin Pilot that I've always liked is you can select a load sheet, and here we are. This is me, my wife, 2 kids, the dog of 20 pounds. 20 pounds in the baggage compartment, full fuel. I can just hit that and I can straight away see that I can keep selecting, very easily select that same load sheet that I'm familiar with, and I can see I'm within center of gravity for the envelope, within the moment, and it matches all my stations. If I want to look at the detail, I can easily look at it like that. So now I want to do a briefing, so I hit brief. And you can see here it's split up into terminal weather, severe weather, SIGMETs, AirMets, center weather advisories, METARs, PIREPs, terminal forecast, winds aloft, NOTAMs, TFRs, bulletins, and so on. And what you have to do is you have to click on each one at a time. So there's my terminal weather there, severe weather, no severe weather warnings today. SIGMETs, there's a convective SIGMET with tops to 25,000 in a particular location, but there's no current SIGMET for this briefing. And for AirMets, I can see that there's an AirMet Tango. For turbulence, there is, and there are updates for that. I can see you've got my METARs here, my PIREPs here. There's PIREPs around here for rime ice during the climb at San Francisco International. Hail and snow actually over San Jose. And we've got our terminal forecasts here that tell me if I were to go flying tonight, it would be winds from the north that would be light at the departure airport and at the destination. I could get my winds aloft here. Winds aloft is not very easy to use in Garmin Pilot. You can see I've got the different altitudes, but it's very difficult to match those up with the wind, direction, speed, and temperature at each of those altitudes. You have to match up each row to each column. Have my NOTAMs here, departure NOTAMs, runway NOTAMs, destination NOTAMs, aerodrome NOTAMs, and so on. So, sort of complicated. PIREPs, I have them down here. It's all in text. TFRs, no current TFRs. Convective outlook. There is a convective outlook across southern Florida. We're in California, so that's not really relevant to us. So then I can go back to the map page. I can take a look at the map page here. I can see here I'm flying IFR. This is what a Garmin IFR page looks like, but I can get to government chart pretty easily by clicking on here. So I've got my government chart page here. Actually, you can see that the route that I'm planning to fly, the route that I'm planning to fly, has not synchronized from the trip planning page. That's just another feature of Garmin Pilot. It's also got a logbook from my flight that I did yesterday, so that's still there. And if I want to edit that out of the way, I have to hit there, click that, and then enter in the flight that I'm planning to do, which I have to go back to homepage, trip planning, activate, and now the map brings up the route that I'm considering filing. So there we are, government charts, and you can see that it takes me a while, but I sort of could get there. So now I'm at my origin. I can click NOS, I can hit this little I here. I can bring up, I've loaded a Jefferson chart subscriber as well, so I can hit procedures, airport page. I can scroll down here. I've got my takeoff and obstacle departure procedure. You can see at the bottom, obstacle departure procedure, and so on. So pretty easy to do that. It's got a nice feature where I can split the pages here, where I can have the map page on the left, and I can have my procedure page here on the right. And I get to my departure airport, and I can scroll down, and I can, there's takeoff minimums as well that it will bring up here at the bottom if I want. So I'm pretty familiar with that. It just, the weight and balance is a nice feature, but it takes a lot of clicks to get to what I want to know. The briefing, I think, is quite clumsy. Here we are, Hayward, which is my destination. I can click on Hayward. Actually, we'll do it this way. So I click on the airport like that, click on that icon, I hit procedure. I'm going to fly the localizer DME course here, and you can see that I'm expecting, if I fly the localizer DME, that I'm going to be most likely vectored around to the north and east of the course. And in fact, I actually flew this flight yesterday. I got vectored into the final approach course between G-band and Fern, which is the final approach fix. This is an interesting approach for anybody who's considering it. Offset localizer approach there. Localizer only, no glide slope. So that's sort of how you would do it in Garmin Pilot. What about ForeFlight? So let's get rid of Garmin Pilot. Let's go to ForeFlight. And here, the tab is at the bottom. So let's make a flight. So I'll hit flight like that. I'll make a new flight. I will go from NOS field to Hayward Executive. Depart tonight at 10 p.m. And I will select my aircraft, which is 8040 Golf. It's telling me to update to the planned altitude. That's a nice feature that you get this in ForeFlight. It gives you this sort of advice as you go along. Going to fly IFR. It's going to ask me which route I want to take. Let's get rid of that. Hit routes here, routes I should say. Retrieving the route. This is the one that's recommended and the one that ATC has most frequently cleared. So we'll put 3,000 feet, Skaggs, Oakland. Very similar to exactly the same as we got from Garmin Pilot. I'll select that route, puts that in on the map, so I can see that very easily there. You can see here that you navigate using these black and white tabs like that much easier, I think. Another feature that you'll see on Garmin in ForeFlight is it allows me to write on the map if I want to. Let's scroll down here Now my route has not loaded for some reason, so we'll go routes. It's giving me the options here of there's a strong tailwind. If I went higher, it would be it's not that far. It's less than around 40-50 miles, so you can see it's no faster to go at a different altitude. But anyway, let's go back to the routes again. Let's load that up again. Skaggs Oakland will put in 5,000 feet. That's what they're recommending, but ATC is usually clearing 3,000. Yesterday I did do this route and they did give me 5,000. Let's put that in there. Let's select that route there. Update it to 5,000. Number of persons, 2 are on board. You can scroll down. Fuel policy, let's set up for maximum fuel, which is full fuel. And you can see it gives you how much fuel you'll be using, your various weights at the different times. Now it also says pack, so if I want to add up, include all the data, so I have it loaded on the iPad, I hit pack there. Previous pack in process. To pack this right, the packing for KDVO to KHWD must be paused. So let's leave that there for now, I'm not quite sure what that means. And now you want to do your see what that is. Go back to briefing. Let's retrieve a briefing. Takes a while. So this is how the briefing look. The briefing is different. So we'll start with adverse conditions. And you can see here it's got a low level turbulence in the area, and I can just click on each of these for the passing time. You can see high level turbulence, urgent PIREPs. There were 3. Low level wind shear, 10 knots on short final, Monterey, hail and snow at 2,000 feet during descent to San Jose, the same as we saw in Garmin Pilot, and another one for Monterey. You get a weather surface analysis. You don't get that in Garmin Pilot. You can easily increase it and decrease it in size. You get the METARs in more of a graphical fashion, so that's easier to digest, I think. The PIREPs. The forecast, you can click on the different times and different weather locations, so that gives you a sense of cloud coverage in different areas and different weather conditions. So that's I think a nice feature, sort of graphical feature that you get. Winds and visibility, so you've got let's say southwest at 0300 Zulu, so you've got your winds, you've got surface winds there, and you've got your other weather conditions here, thunderstorms and other things. So this avoids you, this is the same information you get from ads. Got your TAFs for the route of flight. You can scroll up and down to see those. I think that's easier. Wind chart. I think there's much nicer graphical presentation of data than you get in Garmin Pilot. Vertical cross-section. I think this is nice. You've got the altitudes on the left and you've got the distance that you'll be flying along. You can see it's assuming you'll climb, you go up to 5,000 feet and you'll gradually descend, and it's got the terrain down there at the bottom. This is the winds aloft table. This is the one that I was saying was really poorly presented in Garmin Pilot. Then you've got the departure NOTAMs, destination NOTAMs, en route navigation, en route service, en route airspace, en route runway, en route other NOTAMs. I think that's just sort of a nice way of presenting it. The other thing that I think is nice is that here you go to the map page here, and here you have your flight plan, which is listed up here, and I can click on this button, and I can, once the flight plan is loaded, I can send it to, when you're in the plane, it'll say send to panel. So if you have an aircraft that's equipped, you can send the flight plan to the panel. In this particular case, I would have to add the flight plan here, so I type in KDVO SGD Oak KHWD, and that would bring that up. And so now I could sort of see where I am, and I can, I can have for various airmets and sigmets, this is ice, let that flow through. High level turbulence in orange, IFR conditions, and thunderstorms. You can see that's coming in down there later on in the bottom right hand part of the screen. You can see the PIREPs are coming in there as well. So that's a nice sort of graphical presentation. You'll notice here that we have a choice of different map pages. So here I've got, this is ForeFlight Aeronautical. So that's different to what we had seen with Garmin Pilot. We have Jeppesen VFR. That loads up. If you're a JEP subscriber, you have JEP Low IFR. You can scroll out and you can scroll in. And you have US IFR as well, if that's the way that you want to present the information. You can see all the other options here. We've got radar composite down there. You can see there's a system down there to the south. Of course, you get the same in Garmin Pilot. I haven't shared that. I didn't do that in this presentation, but we can. We have enhanced satellite. You get the same in Garmin Pilot, of course, but I think it's a little easier to appreciate that. And other issues such as surface wind, I think, are interesting here. So if you have high surface winds, it will present that. So this is sort of quite a nice feature, and sometimes if I'm flying along, I'll do that. Then another nice feature that I think is easier to navigate, so we'll just do this in Garmin Pilot. We'll do this in ForeFlight first, is when I go to the airport page, Hayward Executive, here's my weather and advisory, here's the local weather. You can see it just quickly gives you this sort of green dot for VFR. Here's the TAF, and you can scroll down, so rather than having to translate it, it gives you the time of the TAF's 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. You can see when I'll be flying tonight. If it was tonight, it would be VFR. We've got the MOS as well, and we have the winds. That's quite nice. It gives you the best runway. Garmin Pilot does the same. And procedure, this is sort of exactly the same as you would see in Garmin Pilot. The approaches are loaded up like that. One of the features that you don't get in Garmin Pilot, but you do get in ForeFlight, is if you're unfamiliar with the field and you want to look at a 3D view. There's your 3D view. So I was flying to 28 left yesterday. There's 28 left into Hayward, and you can just manipulate to see, here's your 28 left runway there. I think that's quite nice. And so you can say, if I'm flying in and I see that, that's the wrong runway. And let's look at some other features I think are interesting. So you've got here imagery. This is easier to navigate in ForeFlight than Garmin Pilot. You've got your prog charts, surface analysis. You can see prog at 6 hours you can see here rain on the west coast and snow over the mountains. And you can see that over 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours, 30 hours, and so on. So that's quite nice. Probability of precipitation, convective outlook. So I think this is just easier to navigate because you have the different you have the different thumbnails. Where Garmin Pilot is weaker, though, if we go back to the flight page, I beg your pardon, where ForeFlight is weaker is on the weight and balance, and I'll present that in a separate video.